What is up, everyone? Welcome. Welcome to another episode of Hanging Out with the Boys, talking 49er football. My name is Beto, Niner Beto, and I got my co-host, Mr. Peter, and the other king of the kings over there eating strawberries as he's getting fanned by beautiful women. Brandon is not available tonight. He's not feeling good. Please keep him in your prayers. I think he's still hangover from the game. Peter, good afternoon, bro. How you doing? How you feeling, man?
A little bit better than than Sunday, but I mean, we all feel bad for the game. I got to go back to work though, so now it's on to draft season. So excited, and yeah, we just move on, keep it pushing.
Yeah, it sucks that we lost the Super Bowl. It sucks that we didn't get our sixth Lombardi trophy. But for me, it's football 365 days a year, 7 days a week.
365.
I love football. It sucks that the outcome that we got wasn't the outcome that we wanted, obviously. But you got to move on. I mean, to dwell on it and fire this and fire that. People need to I tell people this. If you're a very emotional individual, my suggestion is for you to honestly don't get on social media until you calm down, until you regroup, because you might regret something you say or look dumb saying it because you're upset. We got to regroup. We got to look at everything we did right, fix what we didn't do wrong, what we did wrong, excuse me, look at free agency. Let's see what we can do with the cap. And then draft. There's so many things to talk about, Pete. The cap.
But
what are we
can
going
I
to do?
say something real quick?
Oh, bro,
And
anytime.
not only will you not look the greatest if you go off on rants on Twitter or social media, but the reality is, I mean, no matter how you feel about it, Kyle ain't going nowhere. And not because, I feel this way or that way about Kyle. Look at how much money he has made this organization. Just think about it. They've been to 4 NFC championship games. They have been to 2 Super Bowls. This year, they were 2 home games in the playoffs. So you can understand how much money that made the team. Kyle's not going anywhere. He's a cash cow.
Yep.
And it is what it is. Him and Lynch created a culture and who knows how long the culture will last, but they are going to ride it till the wheels fall off. So yeah, I mean, don't frustrate yourself with all that fire Kyle nonsense. You're just frustrating yourself. You can scream and punch the air, but literally that's all you're doing.
Absolutely. And listen, it doesn't mean you can't criticize Kyle. It doesn't mean you're not frustrated with certain things Kyle did wrong.
Yep.
There is shit that Kyle did that is unacceptable, needs to get fixed, and we're going to talk about that later on in the show. But to fire Kyle, it's just an emotional feeling because we're frustrated. We were so close. There ain't nobody out there right now that is available. Okay, don't mention coaches that are out there already employed. I'm talking about coaches that are not available to other teams. Who is better than Kyle? Even if they are, they haven't proven anything. We don't know that. So you give me a name. Like if Andy Reid was available and just hanging around, if Tomlinson got fired from the Steelers, I would consider him. Tomlinson, but don't talk to me about coordinators that haven't ever done it as a coach.
Belichick.
Well, bring that, Belichick. Oh yeah, bring Belichick. You believe the guy got let go? Nobody hired him. There's a reason. So be mad. Kyle tried to, he passed more than he should have. He should have run the ball. He has an issue with that. He has to fix that. What did you mention before we went live that he has to work on his drawback?
Yeah, his dropback game. It's we've been talking about. I know I've been talking about it on my show, and I've talked about it a couple times on here. His straight dropback game is terrible. It's been terrible for a long time, and it's not something that his scheme is great, but he's a great run game stylist, and he dials up great play action plays. but his straight drop back game, because he's never really had a quarterback that could do it except for Matt Ryan. It's just, and Matt Ryan was good enough to make him right a lot of the time. It's just not, it's not good. He doesn't have a lot of blitz beaters in any of his plays. He doesn't leave a lot of answers and it's always a 5 to 7 step drop. And guys running into motion 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage. It's not conducive to a quick game. There is no, you have never, and anybody, if anybody can tell me different, hey, more power to you. But can anybody remember the last time we've seen Kyle go quick game? And you got to get the ball out. Okay, move on to the next play. When was the last time that we saw them really get the ball down the field in a small amount of time? It's never I can't remember. I can't remember a time when that's ever happened. So I think that people think that his game, they think it's him managing the clock and going for field goals, and people get mad at the end of halves and stuff. I think that's just his offense. He doesn't have a quick game. So that was all I had to say about the drop back game. He's got to fix it. He's got to give Purdy some hot reads, some more hot reads, hot outs, for when guys are when they're blitzing. And Purdy still does a good job against the blitz, but in situations where he needs to get the ball out quick, there's just not a lot of answers usually.
Yep, give me 1 second real quick. Oops, where am I? Right there. Okay, much better. No, I hear you, bro. I hear you. Why do you think Bill hasn't been hired? Exactly. I like every point you made. And I know there's a lot of Niner fans that are not always going to agree with neither you or me, Pete, or with other content creators. And I'm not saying they're not right in what the way they think. I'm not saying they're not right in their frustration of Kyle. I understand you're pissed off at Kyle. Kyle hasn't won the big game. Kyle this, Kyle that. Now, I'm not opposed to getting rid of Kyle. I like Kyle, but I'm okay moving on. But you got to let me know who's replacing him. Not just fire Kyle and let's go and get somebody we don't know what they can do. Sometimes the grass does not look, it's not always greener on the other side of the fence. It may look green, but it's a bunch of weeds hidden within the grass that you don't know about. So you got to be careful what you ask. Now, if someone can come here proven that we know they can do it, I will consider the conversation and moving on from Kyle. But to get rid of Kyle just because he makes some mistakes that you don't like, and there are plenty of them, but he does, in my opinion, and Pete, you can come on this on your own, what he does bad is bad, but he does more better than bad. As long as the better parts are higher than bad, I can handle for the time being until I see someone else that can replace him. But please don't say fire him when you have absolutely nobody in the spot to fill him. I want to get your thoughts on that part. What do you think about that? If you fire him, if he would get fired, who would you bring in as a head coach that is available?
I mean, I don't have any names off the top of my head. It would be really difficult, to replace what Kyle's done and what him and Lynch have built, because you would have to bring in somebody that ran a similar style of offense, and because this team is built for Kyle's system. So not only would you be losing, and honestly, there might be another coach out there that could do more with these players. Who knows? I don't know. And maybe these guys are not just scheme fits for Kyle. But I just don't know. They would have to be pretty proven to come into this locker room after what Kyle's built. And they would have to be pretty proven to come into this locker room and demand the respect of these players, because this is a team that has been to last 4 out of 5 national NFC championship games, and and 2 Super Bowls. So if you come in with a message, it better be believable with these players, and it better be honest, because I think that's what Kyle um, demands from these players more than anything. Is he demands respect, because they all talk about it. Him and Lynch are both just straight shooters, and they tell them the truth, and they don't sugarcoat stuff. So I feel like it would have to be that style. Like, I mean, I don't think Belichick is an option, but it would have to be that style of a coach. So I don't know of anybody out there offhand that is just known for that.
Yep, I hear you. I hear there's nobody out there right now that I think can come in right now with this roster and do something better. I understand the frustration once again with Kyle. Are there things that Kyle did in the Super Bowl once again that pissed you off? Absolutely. Are there
Absolutely.
things that Kyle needs to work on? Yes. Am I saying to keep Kyle forever? No. I'm not opposed, again, replacing Kyle, but I need to make sure that we have someone that can replace him, one. And two, he really needs to shit the bed. I mean,
Yeah.
totally shit the bed for me to really move on from Kyle. He hasn't done
Like
that.
what Sirianni did. Like what
Yeah,
Sirianni
like
did. For the
Sirianni,
Eagles.
yeah. Like completely just go, what's the word I'm looking for? Where they just drop off the radar and just went from
Yeah,
being
they
10
just
and 1
completely
to,
fall off. Like,
yeah,
and it's just, I
that's a good
mean,
point.
they're just
They,
plummet. Like they don't like that's to me what would have to happen.
and look at
Because
Philly, they didn't
then
even
you're
fire
talking about
him.
messing with Jed York's money, and like then it's a possibility. But right now he's making Jed York money, so that's not an option.
And they didn't fire
Sustained
him in
success.
Philly. And look what he did. And if they didn't
Yeah,
fire him, why would you think we're going to fire Kyle for not even doing that, but just because he made some bad calls that you might not agree
everybody wants
with?
his coach. Everybody wants his coaches. Everybody wants a little piece of the culture. Like, and I mean, so it is what it is. Like Kyle, just save yourself some grief. Kyle's not going anywhere. And I see the guys in the comments talking about Dion, talking about Dion's going to go crazy. He absolutely is, and he has every right to be angry. Like, I mean, it is what it is. But like, I hate to break it to you, he's not going nowhere. So we can be mad.
Khalil Young brings a good question, and I want you to lead off with this. But before you do, I just want to welcome David Villa, welcome Mr. Young. Nick's in the house. We got Red Jet Shal. What's up, Shal? Welcome.
Oh, what's up,
Good to
Red
see you,
Jet?
sis. I enjoy you. Everyone's in the house. Welcome, welcome. He says, "What do you guys think about Wilkes possibly being replaced?" I want to get your thoughts on that.
I think I've said it a bunch of times on the show. I didn't like the Wilkes. I liked the hire initially because I was like, okay, well, they're bringing in somebody who's respected in the league. The players, former players, have obviously respected him. But what I didn't think of was that he doesn't really run what Kyle's used to run, what we're used to running here, and I wasn't thinking that Kyle was going to mandate that he run Kyle's system. And I think that's where the disconnect was, is that he's being made to run somebody else's system and not his own. So when you try to fit a square peg in a round hole, pause, it's it sometimes it just doesn't fit. It just doesn't fit, and I think that's what happened in this situation. Now, granted, Wilkes, I think for the most part, did a really good job in the Super Bowl. This team came out on fire, but I saw a report today that Kyle put together the defensive game plan, and and uh, and that and I don't know if it's true, but I saw a report that said that he put together the defensive game plan and that they called a couple of timeouts just to veto Wilkes' call a couple of times. And
Yep.
like one time, I remember him calling timeout, and then he was bitching Steve Wilkes out. Like you could see it on the on like him talking into the headset. He was cussing somebody out into the headset. So it's I just don't think Kyle and Steve Wilkes kind of blended. I just don't think that they blended together well. And I think that Kyle needs somebody that I think he's better with a guy that comes from within, so that way he has the final say. Everybody knows he has the final say. He doesn't have to deal with a guy, an experienced coach that has his own preconceived notions about what should happen. So that's that. I just don't think it was ever a good fit.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know, and I'm not even going to add to that because you did a great job, and there's no reason for us to continue talking about the same situation. Brandon says, "Guys, what do you think of Bill Belichick replacing
Absolutely
Wilkes?" Okay, since you answered that quickly, why do you think he's not a good piece to bring in?
It's the same. It's the same situation as Steve Wilkes. Bill Belichick runs a 3-4.
That's true.
Like he runs a 3-4. It's going to be completely different than what we do, and not that he can't do it. Just like we said with Wilkes, not that he can't do it, but we're going to run into the same issues as to Bill is. I think the only thing that would be that Kyle. I don't think that he could go to Bill. I think Bill would just leave if Kyle started vetoing his calls and like that kind of stuff. But then we're right back in a bad situation. So, but I think that it is interesting if Kyle did put that game plan together for the Super Bowl. That defense came out firing on all cylinders, and it looked like D'Amico was running the defense. So it makes me wonder what how much Kyle actually had to do with the defense all along.
I think Steve probably did talk to Kyle and said, "Hey, listen, I've been running it your way, and we're going to keep some things installed. But if you want to give me a chance, if you want a chance to win the Super Bowl, allow me to coach my way. Let me do my thing." He even got Chris Kasarik, Steve Wilkes got something out of Chase Young. Chase Young's like, "Where were you in the playoffs? Where were you at the end of the season?" He came on fire. That defense was smothering again. They were not letting no runs get by them. They were in their gap. They were tackling well. I think, listen, you want to blame Steve Wilkes on this. You want to blame Kyle. The fact that, unfortunately, Greenlaw got hurt, and that's devastating. You saw they could not do nothing in the middle when Greenlaw was playing. As soon as he got hurt, what did they do? They immediately attacked Burks 9 times. Out of 9 times, they completed the ball on Burks. Burks was the weakest link coming in for Greenlaw, and that's when they were able to move the ball and hurt us. I believe if Greenlaw doesn't get hurt, we're in a way better situation in winning the Super Bowl. So you want to blame this, you want to blame that. Look at, unfortunately, he got hurt, and he was a vital piece in that defense.
But I mean, Greenlaw went down pretty early.
Yeah.
In the game. And how many points did they have at the half?
3.
They had 3? So, I mean, they weren't hurting them like even though Burks was in there, they weren't hurting them that much. And I think it was as the game went on, I think Andy Reid started making adjustments, and then they got the muff punt that they got a one play drive for a touchdown, and then they got that other one where he just threw it up. Like he threw it up, should have been intercepted. And there was just a bunch of weird plays in this game that I don't necessarily think. I think Wilkes. If it was Wilkes calling the game, I think Wilkes called a pretty good game. And until the overtime, when he decided to telegraph a blitz, telegraph an all-out blitz, and Pat Mahomes went right over the top of the blitz, and went for the touchdown. So I mean, or it wasn't a touchdown. It was he ran it on a RPO keeper or whatever it was. I can't remember, but it was just so many ill-timed, and that's kind of a testament to what had been happening all year, is just ill-timed blitzes. And yeah, I don't know. I stand on what I said. Like, is that I think that Wilkes and Kyle just didn't mix well.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you on that. You made a valid point about the muff punt. Listen, they had not able to score or move the ball on us at all. Unfortunately, and we had just got the stopped them or scored. I forgot what we did where we had stopped them. And then they punted the ball to us, and that's when the mutt happened. It hit Luter in the leg, and people wanted to blame, including myself, when I did not see it right away. I blamed Ray. And should he landed on top of it instead of trying to pick it up? Yes. But quick thinking like that, you react.
I think it was just that it was rolling away from him.
Yeah.
And he was kind of lunging, because a lot of times when it's rolling away from you and you try to dive on it, it just gets pushed.
There you go.
In the other direction. So I think he was just trying to get his hands on it.
Yeah, trying to find out a way to keep it.
I don't think he was trying to run with it or any of that kind of stuff. I just think it was just an unfortunate. So hindsight is always 20/20. Everybody thinks that they know what they would do in that situation. The reality, it's just a bad bounce. It's a bad bounce. And the only thing that I could say about Ray is he should have been louder to tell Luter to get away from the ball.
Yeah, Luter. It's a rookie mistake, man.
I was like, the rookie.
What's up, JR Meadows? What's up, Mac Joe? Welcome to the channel, Luis Moreno. Listen, there's a question by Mr. Young that I do like. And replacing Wilkes, if we do. I can't pronounce his last name, but I like him. I don't know about Rex Ryan, to be honest with you.
They both run 3-4s.
I know. That's the only hard part. Now, I know people say some of them run 3-4, some 4-3s, but do we really run those? With a lot of times with having 5 D-backs, do we really run?
Kyle likes 4 down linemen. That's Kyle's thing. He likes 4.
Plus, we don't have the nose tackle to really sit there and.
Yeah, no, we don't have anything close to a nose tackle
for us to have a 3-4.
And we don't have our ends aren't big enough to be on a 3-4 ends. Like, they would have to redo their personnel. And for the people that are going to say that, oh, well, they don't have to run a 3-4, we'd be in the same spot that Steve Wilkes was. Like, it's just, it is what it is. I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind having either one of those guys. I'd be wary, and I'd be looking out for those types of things to happen, for them to kind of struggle trying to run Kyle's system instead of running their own.
Yeah, absolutely.
I learned from my mistakes. I don't know about Kyle, but
well, he has. He just still keeps pulling more rabbits out of his butt, but he's not the same Kyle that he was in 2017 that he was on Sunday. No. So he has learned. You can hate him all you want, and I'm not referring to you, Pete. I'm talking about him generally. People can hate him all they want, but the guy has changed a lot since 2017 until Sunday, this past Sunday. But just like every human, we're accustomed of certain ways, and we want to do things certain ways, and it bites us in the ass. But again, what Kyle does better oversees what he does bad at the moment for me. Mm-hmm. Once the bad shit starts overcoming the good stuff, then let's talk about getting rid of him and taking chances with someone else. But we won how many games? We've been to what? 4 NFC championship games and 2 Super Bowls in Kyle's era. Did we win them? No.
12 games this year, 13 games last year. And look.
Why would you want to fire a coach like that, bro?
Yeah, look, like, you know what? You know why? And I don't know. I'm talking about from my era because I'm old. But, like,
and I'm older, so thank you.
It's the Marty Schottenheimer effect. You remember Marty Schottenheimer when he was the Chiefs head coach? And he used to win all these games. He'd get to the playoffs, and he would end up. He couldn't get to the Super Bowl, like because they called it Marty Ball. He would just run, 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 run. Couldn't flesh out a pass game. Couldn't do anything. And it's that effect. And ever since Marty Schottenheimer, every team, if a guy is getting you to the playoff, it's not good enough just to get you to the playoffs. Now every team they have to get to the Super Bowl, and even if you get to the Super Bowl, it's not good enough. Like, you've got to win it. After so long, and then all the fans want to replace you. So but it's been ever since then, that guy, that fans have been that way. I don't know. I don't know what that's about.
Real quick, Luis Moreno said, "What about bringing back Vic Fangio? He's from Philly, and when he was let go from Miami, he went and got hired immediately to Philadelphia. He's now the Philadelphia Eagles' new defensive coordinator, so he's not even available. I wouldn't want him either because he runs another 3-4.
Another 3-4 guy.
Yeah, so a lot of the guys out there are 3-4s. You got a 4-3 that is working for us. We got the personnel for the 4-3. We don't have now. We are drafting 11 players. So can we get the personnel for 4? Yes, but why would you want to change the whole?
What would you do with the guys you got?
Yeah.
Now, I mean, I guess you would have to turn. Bosa would have to be an outside linebacker now.
Yeah.
In a 3-4. And what you could do, I mean, remember, that's what they did with Alden Smith. And that worked out great. You could call it a 3-4, but it's really a 4-3, like what the 49ers were running before.
Yep. Real quick to Alex G, welcome. We got a Rams fan. He says, if Jimmy G wasn't the problem, then who is? Shanahan? The problem, honestly, in this game particularly, was the fumble by Christian McCaffrey. That doesn't happen often, but it happened. And the muff punt. Tell me, Alex, which both of those two were Kyle's fault?
The missed extra point. I can keep going.
The missed extra point? How is that Kyle's fault?
None of that stuff is Kyle's fault. So
it's easy to say it's Kyle's fault, but he didn't fumble the ball. He didn't get the ball hit him in the leg, got in the way. He didn't miss the extra point.
It's not Purdy's fault either.
Yeah, if Moody would have made that extra point, the Chiefs would have been forced to go for a touchdown. They could have or could not happen. We don't know, but they would have been forced for the touchdown to try to win the game. And things change. So it's easy. It's easy to blame when things don't go right, but you got to look at the whole picture and not just look at the names. There was a lot of misfortunes that bounced. Not only that, but the Chiefs were lucky in times. They must have dropped the ball on the floor like 3 or 4 times, and they only lost it once. Mm-hmm. The balls were bouncing their way. How is that Kyle's fault? Mm-hmm. So it's easy to blame the blame game when things don't go right, but you got to look at the whole thing. Now, did Kyle help to some of that? Maybe.
Yeah.
But it wasn't his fault. Yeah.
I mean, you can't get the ball in the field position that he got it multiple times and got no points and not say he doesn't shoulder some of the blame. I mean, it is what it is. But all of those things that we just mentioned absolutely are a part of that as well. And to me, they meant more than Kyle not getting points on certain plays or whatever. It's you can't have mishaps like that against a tried and true championship team like that's been through the wars, and you've got a Mahomes guy that's already won 2. So it's and is obviously the best quarterback in the league. So you cannot just keep giving them chances.
Yeah, Khalil Young says he makes a good point. It's Kyle's fault that Burford did not block Chris Jones when BA was wide open. Yeah, Kyle's yeah. Now I don't know if he means that sarcastically or not, but
he does.
It wasn't Kyle's fault of that either. Come on. Yeah. And then Feliciano got hurt. That he's the only one he only gave up 1 pressure while he was in there.
Yeah, I mean, Feliciano was really good, played really good for it now. I mean, I don't know if he's going to be here next year after he's talking mess
Oh, you heard about that, huh?
Like, I mean, there's no space for that in the culture. Like,
If it's true, no. Talking about the guy that you talk about the guy from Philly, right?
yeah, there's no. Well,
Yeah,
no, he was
yeah.
talking about. No, I'm talking about. He talked about Burford. He aired out Burford.
Oh no. Oh, I didn't know. Tell me about that. I didn't hear that.
So, somebody had said something about Colton McKivitz, like being the one that let the free rusher go. But Feliciano got in this guy's comments saying saying it wasn't Colton's fault. Like there was somebody else that let that guy go. And then later on, like hours later, Burford got in there. He's like, I have to wake up to this. Like I have to wake up to see this. He's like, man, hope you feel better,
Oh
bro.
crap.
Talking about Feliciano get injury, and then Feliciano got in there and can apologize, talking about he was drunk. It was just weird. It was weird, and I just feel like
Oh.
I don't know that he'll be back. Like just because you can't have that as a part of the culture. And I think that the 49ers got away from their culture a little bit this season. I think that they were bringing in a lot of guys that they normally wouldn't have brought in the middle of the season just because they were trying to get over the hump. And so I think that Kyle's going to want to get back to basics, and he's definitely not going to stand for that kind of nonsense. They've never stood for it before.
So okay. So moving on because we're gonna end early tonight. Moving on. We lost. Let's move on. Based on what you've seen, and Mac Joe brought this up. Based on what you've seen this season, moving into let's talk free agency first a little bit, and then
Yeah.
of course we have more time to talk about the draft a little bit today, more the next couple of shows because it's going to be a long off season, and we're going to have a lot to talk about. But going into free agency, the obviously is to bring back certain players. Who would you bring back that is available as free agents to the Niners, in your opinion?
You mean 49ers that are
Yeah,
like, well,
our
I
own
mean,
guys.
priority number one is getting Ayuk re-signed. And then after you
Okay.
get that money fixed, then you can, I mean, but they're not going to have time because to adjust their free agency around Ayuk's contract. Because as we all know, and people are gonna get mad about it, but they're probably not gonna re-sign him until training camp.
Yep.
So just get it out of the way now. You guys are gonna be frustrated.
And I'm okay
Like
with that because look at the track record. Pete, not to interrupt, but look at the track record.
I agree. I agree. Like, but people get all upset because they think that
They get it in their panties.
they have to get it done as soon as possible so that they can manage all their money. And like, they've got a plan.
Yeah.
Okay, they already know how much in the ballpark of where they want to pay or what they want to pay Ayuk, and like they're gonna sign people to the free agents like accordingly. But
Yeah.
I would like to see. I mean, I would like to see Jennings back. I don't know if that can happen. Um, but I would like to see Jennings back. And
He's a restricted free agent.
yeah,
So if we can get him back, or they're going to have to give us picks for him if whoever wants
that's
him.
true. So he's probably coming back then.
Yeah.
And then, but so for sure I want him back. And then I'm trying to think who else is a free agent. It is
I'll tell you right now. And these are the things that we're going to figure. And the Niners' track record has always been good in bringing back players they value. They did it with Fred Warner. They did it with
Colton.
Debo. They did it with Bosa. They did it with Kittle. They always bring back those they value. Brandon Ayuk is one of those guys that fall in that category. I don't
Yeah.
care if it's one day before the regular season starts. They'll get him signed.
Oh, I
Don't
don't think that
panic.
they're going to re-sign Kinlaw. I'd be shocked
If
they
they
brought
do or they
Kinlaw
don't.
back. If they did, I'd be shocked if they did.
Why is that?
Like just just because I think he had a good enough season this season to be too expensive.
Yeah.
Like because this is the thing, this is the last season with Brock Purdy on a rookie deal. whoever they sign, and they might sign him for a 1-year deal, a 1-year prove it deal. But I feel like this was his prove it year, and if he has a team offer him anything, he's probably gone. And but then who else?
Okay, so the free
Cleveland
agents.
Farrell. I'd like to see Farrell back for sure.
Let me give you the names real quick so that you can go from there. Randy Gregory, Chase Young, Sam Darnold, Kinlaw, Tashawn Gibson, Joseph Day, Oren Burks, Clinton Farrell, John Feliciano, Kevin Givens, Ray McLeod,
Slow down.
DFF, sorry, Ross Dwally, Brandon Allen, Chris Conley, Logan Ryan.
How about you go down the list and I just give you a yes or no?
Okay, there you go. Randy Gregory,
No.
Chase Young,
No.
Sam Darnold,
No.
Javon Kinlaw.
After saying all those no's, I'm going to say yes.
Tashawn Gibson,
No.
Sebastian Joseph Day,
No.
Oren Burks,
Yes.
Clinton Farrell,
Yes.
John Feliciano,
No.
Kevin Givens,
Yes.
Ray McLeod.
I'm going to say no.
Thank you. DFF,
I'm going to say yes.
Ross Dwally,
Ross Dwelly.
the tight end.
Yes, he's the barnacle. Yeah, he's coming back.
Brandon Allen, quarterback.
Yes.
Chris Conley, receiver.
Yes.
I like what he did in special teams, but we'll get into
Yes.
that.
And he got
Logan
better as a
Ryan.
receiver too.
Yes. Yes. On the receiver
Logan
part,
Ryan,
not on the
absolutely
Logan Ryan.
not Logan Ryan. Logan Ryan.
Matt Pryor, left tackle.
No.
Juwan Jennings. Yes.
Please. Yeah. Well, we already know like he's restricted, so yes.
Ben Barch. I don't even know who that is.
Oh, I know who he is. Yeah, no. No.
Charlie Warner.
I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say
And the
no.
last one is Tyler Hawkins, the safety, the young kid.
Ooh. I'm gonna say yes because they need depth. Yep.
Okay, so we're not going to bring a lot of those. So
They got 11 draft picks,
they do.
and they got 11 draft picks, and they've got and this is what people forget is that they made like what didn't they create like 40 million in cap space
They have
this season?
when they restructured people's contracts before the season, they created 38 million, which has got rolled
like 30
over.
Yeah, and it's
to
going to
this
get
year.
rolled over. So they've got all that money to play with for one season.
Yes, they're still going
I
to be
would-
behind the 8 ball, but not by much.
Yeah. I still think that they're going to have enough to get rid of those and get some depth pieces, some major depth pieces in. And then it's going to be about those guys, the second year guys, because they didn't use hardly any rookies this year.
No.
I mean, Darrell Luter, I think
Yeah, we did.
he's gonna,
We used him to get hit in the leg.
Yeah. Well, Darrell Luter didn't even get to play until late in the season. I think he is going. I think they really like him, and I think he's definitely going to be a part in the mix. I think that we've got to see what we've got in the two tight ends, Latu and what's his name? I completely blanked on his name. The guy from Oklahoma.
I can't.
The guy that got the holding penalty in the Super Bowl.
No, I know. I know you're talking about.
He had to sub in for Kittle for like 2 plays, and like he gets a holding penalty.
Yeah, number 9, Willis,
Yeah.
I believe.
Yes. I think that he's going to be more of a factor this season, which wouldn't surprise me if Dwelly's gone. But like, he's a barnacle. I just feel like he's going to find his way onto the roster. But
And then we have the other
Yeah.
tight end that didn't play from Alabama. We'll see what he does.
yeah, Latu.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't hear you say that. My bad.
Yeah, Latu. And who else did they get? They
I thought you
got
said latte. Just kidding.
oh no. Yeah. Who did they? Who else
Sorry,
did
I
they
didn't mean to
get?
throw you off.
No. Oh, and then what's his name? That was playing the first half of the season, and then he wasn't doing so hot in the return game, so they kind of
Position?
just put him on the bench. The receiver from Michigan.
Oh,
Uh,
Bell, Ronnie Bell.
yeah, Ronnie Bell. He's gonna be better this season.
Oh yeah,
And then nobody
absolutely,
knows what's gonna happen with Danny Gray. Like, I mean,
dude. He's
he
yeah.
who knows
He
like what's
probably
going
not
on
even
with
gonna
that.
make it, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I would assume that he's not gonna make it. But I mean, who knows? He looked good in training camp, and then he just fell off. Just like,
Yeah,
I mean, they just said nope. So I don't know. I think that there's going to be a lot of guys that go their separate ways, especially the way the season ended in the Super Bowl. Some guys. I think they all thought that this was the year, and I think some people are going to get disenfranchised by not getting it, and they're going to think that, well, the culture didn't mean anything because we didn't win. Like, so I think it's going to be really come down to those leaders on this team, and then they're going to have to retool around them.
yep. Oop.
So
I agree with you. So listen, I know sounds cliche, and I want to get your thoughts on this, Pete. Anytime you give a quarterback time to throw, they're going to do better than when they're under duress. Knowing the fact that Brock Purdy can throw pretty good under duress, and he can do this and that. But imagine giving him time to read the defense, to look at let the receivers make their cuts. How important do the Niners need to get this offensive line fixed and get it fixed quickly, in your opinion?
I mean, it's always been a priority. I feel like it's always been a priority to the fans. It's never been a priority for Kyle, ever.
That's a true.
Like, I mean, we've been screaming for tackles and interior offensive linemen for years. They rolled out, uh, they rolled out Aaron. And nobody thought Aaron Banks was going to work out.
Yeah.
Like Burford, everybody was scared of Burford. Then Feliciano comes in and ends up playing well. They were okay with him. And Brendel? Everybody thought the world was going to end when they started Brendel.
Yeah.
and then same thing with Colton McKivitz, and the world almost did end with Colton McKivitz starting over there.
I liked him,
at
actually.
right tackle. I can't.
Bro,
that guy.
I liked him for the price. He did not. He was.
Well, yeah, for the price.
But I mean, because if we would have brought McClinchy back and paid him that amount of money,
No,
who would you
they
have
weren't
been
gonna
happier with?
No, they weren't going to bring McGlinchey back. What I was saying was that they could have at least drafted someone 2 years ago. We've been begging them to draft guys that could like step into those roles eventually. And while you had a McGlinchey on the roster, while you had a younger Trent Williams, so that they could groom under those guys, and they just did not prioritize it. Like, they just think that, oh, well, the guys we got in house are good enough, and they kept telling us that. But then when it came down to it, they're not good enough. Like, when it comes down to it, and like I said, in the drop back game, because those guys are fine when you're talking about the zone run game, because their deficiencies you can hide them. Like, but when it turns into a pure drop back game, and and there's no disguising it, and like all that kind of stuff, it ends up being man on man. Those guys are getting exposed, and we saw that in the Super Bowl. So I feel like they absolutely have to draft somebody now. But now we're gonna have a rookie if we do draft somebody high. Now we're gonna have a rookie in that spot.
Yeah.
So it's just there's no good situation. They're gonna bring in somebody from outside that doesn't know the scheme, doesn't know the system. There's gonna be a learning curve, or they're gonna bring in a rookie that's gonna have to learn the system. There's gonna be a learning curve, and or they stay with Colton McKivitz. and bring in somebody else underneath, like draft a guy underneath him. So it's been bad planning. That part was bad planning.
Yeah, I think if they do, and they
But I think they're
will
going to draft somebody.
a tackle, I think they can still. I think they can still go next year with McKivitz, while that tackle, even if it's for half a year until that tackle picks up that offense and then replace McKivitz eventually. I know a lot of people don't like McKivitz. He's not great. I'm with you. I'm not saying, oh my God, keep him for another 3 years. But I think he can do enough just until they bring that tackle along. And if that tackle comes in and starts showing off right off the bat that he can play, maybe he will take his spot.
But that's why it didn't make any sense. Anyway, I don't want to regurgitate.
Yeah, we can't change the past, bro. I hear you. I can only talk about what could happen because the reality is they didn't draft tackles. They didn't draft ahead. So this is where we're at today. And shoulda, coulda, woulda doesn't fix anything other than just frustrate you and myself talking about it, right? So we got to draft. Now, can they not make the same mistake this draft? Can they focus on getting a good guard and a tackle as priorities and not focus solely on getting a defensive end? Or
you know they're going to draft a defensive end.
Oh, I know. And I don't mind.
If it's not the first round, then it's going to be in the second.
Get the tackle. Listen, if they get a tackle in the first round and then get a defensive end in the second round, I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
I truly am.
I wouldn't be shocked if it was a defensive end in the first round.
No, neither would I. I wouldn't advise it because we really got to. Because I really believe we protect Brock Purdy. This kid is special. We've seen what he can do.
I agree.
Give him enough time. Like, for example, that play where Chris Jones came untouched. If he would have been blocked, we would have scored. There's so many things we could have done if you protect Brock Purdy.
Yeah.
Emphasize on that. They got to do it. They got to value. I think they came to the conclusion that this guy is their franchise quarterback. And not because I don't think they had a franchise quarterback. So they were kind of just doing whatever and offensively. Now that they know this kid is the kid that can take us to the promised land and win it again, let's make sure we protect them. At least I hope that's the way they think. If they don't, then maybe we should fire Kyle for that offense. You got to bring in a tackle, and not a tackle in the fourth or fifth to develop. We need to bring a tackle that it's not going to take 2 years to develop, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I think that this draft has some good interior offensive linemen in it. Like, it's pretty deep that way. Tackles to me seem kind of top heavy, and like in the draft. So I don't know exactly what, but this is what I would look for if I was Niner fans. I would look for the 49ers to take some of that draft capital. And how much did they trade? How much did they have to trade to get Trent Williams?
Oh, wow. That was beautiful. A third and a fifth.
So be looking. They've got 11 picks. So be on the lookout for a similar type of trade to get maybe not an aging tackle, but like somebody in there, not necessarily in their prime, but just coming out of their prime. And like that.
And I was looking at free agency. There are some good tackles coming out. They won't be as
but they don't want to pay anybody.
No,
they don't want to pay anybody. I think that they want to get somebody that that'll give them that 1 or 2 year window.
Well, when I look at free agency, Pete, I'll be honest with you. I don't look at free agency and look at the best players on the top 10. Okay, because that's just wasting my time. I know the value is going to come with that. I'm looking about guys on second day of free agency, not the first day. I'm looking at second day. They can come in and help us offensively. Because would it be nice to bring a nice top tackle in day one? Yes. But you got to also look at what we're going to pay our guys already. We can't live in this fantasy Madden where you just bring any name just because it's a name and not worry about the money. The money is something you have to work on. So when I look at free agency, I look at how much money we have, who we have on the roster, who's going against the cap, and the Brandon Ayuk. Now Brandon Ayuk signs a new contract. That's going to help us out this year, just like Debo and Bosa did. But you got to look at the future too. So I don't expect them to bring a high. They're not going to bring a Javon Hargrave type of tackle. If you think that's going to happen, and you're going to be pissed off and upset that didn't happen, but look for day 2, day 3, and even day 4 or after.
They've got some good guys in the draft for interior defensive linemen too. Like, so I'd expect them to get somebody else. I think they like Clea Davis. I think he's going to be back. Kevin Givens is definitely going to be back. I don't know that they go too deep as far for the defensive line. I think that they might get one more vet like they did with Cleveland Farrell and pay him that 1 year prove it deal.
And here's a thought for you, and I want to get your opinion on this. I've been hearing a lot about this. The Chargers are going to cut Joey Bosa. He makes way too much money because of his injuries and is always getting hurt. He makes too much money to be traded. They're not going to trade him because nobody's going to take the chance on a kid like that gets hurt to pay that amount. He will get cut. When he gets cut, he'll choose to go whatever he wants on a 1 year prove it year. I've been hearing rumblings if that happens that the Niners can bring him for 1 year on the minimum just to prove it, to the chance to play next to his brother. What's your thoughts on that?
I'd take it. I'd for sure. That's low risk, high reward.
Yes.
And he could be a part of the rotation. There's no pressure for him to play every down. I like just have him in there for the NASCAR package, and that's it.
Yep.
Like third down, like he'd be our third down specialist, and that's I'd be perfectly fine with that. Does it happen? Who knows?
Who knows? Yeah. But if he's going to do it a 1 year prove it deal,
Khalil Mack, I think is
no, he's going to cost money though.
Oh no, he's not. I don't think he is. I don't think he is at this point.
Khalil Mack?
He's in the same. Yeah, I think he's in the same boat Bosa is. Like he's on a down. He's had a couple of down
when you
years.
say Nick Bosa, you're talking about Joey. Just to bring clarity.
Joey, yeah. Joey Bosa.
Because if you're talking about Nick, then he's going to give him a lot of money. That's why we want to make sure we clarify.
But
go ahead.
Khalil Mack, I think, is on the downside. He's not going to get a ton of money.
Okay.
He's 30. He's going to be 32.
How was his production this year? Do you know?
His production, I don't think it was that good. because
that's where the money comes in. If he performed good and he sat, of course the money, the age part, people are desperate out there. The people will pay for, like Chase Young. If we don't bring him back, he didn't do much, but they'll pay for him because they're desperate for a defensive end. What did he do? I know you're looking it up. And while you look it up, I just want to thank everybody for hanging out with us. You guys are amazing. You guys in the chat, kind of applause for hanging out with
maybe
us.
Not.
You guys are awesome.
Maybe not. I guess because their team was so terrible, that I didn't really pay attention. But 17 sacks.
Yeah, bro, he's not coming cheap.
Yeah.
That's when you said that, I'm like, I'm not going to argue with you, but I'm like,
he's only had 1 year where he's really been hurt.
He's going to get paid.
But that was his first big year of having sacks in like 4 years. Before that, he was 8, 6, 9, 8.5. So I don't know that, and he was probably on the field the whole game. So I don't know.
Holy crap! He has 7 sacks in one game.
He's gonna be 33 this year. I don't know that. Somebody will overpay him to come in and be. But I think he's gonna want to take less to become just to come onto a winning team. I think he's just gonna try and get on a winning team.
That's true. Now, real quick, Hassan Reddick has already been making rumbles that he don't. Even though he's from Philly, he doesn't like the way the Philadelphia has been, where they're heading, what they're doing. I think if they do trade him, they'll probably trade him for a 2. would you pull the trigger on him? He's not going to cost that much.
I don't think anybody would give a 2 for him. I think they're probably probably have to give him up for like a 3rd or 4th because he's already said he wants to leave. But I would not, personally. I think that is a guy who has not gotten along with your players, and I don't necessarily it's one thing to bring Sherman in, who didn't have any link to any of the current 49ers. But it's another thing to bring in a guy that just last year, that just this year, was talking mess about the team. So
yeah, that's
I don't
true.
know.
You know, since you brought Richard Sherman, that guy right there, man, I hated him.
Yeah, big up to Sherman though.
I love the guy now. I never hated.
Everybody does.
I never hated someone and then loved them not the same time, but later on. And when not only because he played for us, but the way he talks about the Niners, he talks more about the Niners than he does the Seahawks. He's always pulling for the Niners, talking positive about the Niners, and I just love his aura when it comes to the Niners, and I love the guy. The guy's awesome, and I hated him at one point, and that's the only player that I ever hated that I came to love at a later time, and that is still weird for me, but he's definitely one that made me go through that up and down, that hate and love, the thin line between love and hate. That was definitely him.
Yeah. No, I love Sherm. I loved him when he got on the Niners. Of course, I hated him.
It took me a while. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh no, when he got on the Niners, I was all about it from that moment forward.
Once you're a better man than me,
once you're on the team, hey. And he signed
I just couldn't forget
deal.
the turkey in the 50-yard line, bro.
Yeah,
and then calling Crabtree, although he was right about Crabtree.
Yeah, no, I didn't have any problem with his problems with Crabtree. I couldn't stand Crabtree.
Remember he scared the crap out of what's her name? I forgot her name. Andrews.
Yeah,
she got freaked out when he goes, "Don't talk to me about." Remember, and she freaked out.
Yeah.
That was an awesome take.
Yeah, I could not stand Crabtree.
So we're about 2 minutes before our show, and tomorrow is Valentine's Day. So I'm gonna get ready for tomorrow. I know my bro Pete is, and all of you who are watching, those that have loved ones, enjoy your loved ones, enjoy your families for Valentine's. Hope you guys have a wonderful evening tomorrow on Valentine's. Pete, before we go,
yes, sir,
and we will resume next week. Give me a grade on the Niners this season, even with a loss in the Super Bowl. What was your grade overall on the team?
I'm going to say B+. I'm going to give it a solid B+.
Okay.
I can't give it an A because we didn't win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, of course.
But I would give it a B+. I think that this team proved a lot of things. It was very entertaining. It was the most entertaining one of the most entertaining seasons that I've had to watch the 49ers in a long time. And from especially offensively.
Yes.
And knowing that we have a quarterback now. That's huge. That there's not going to be any more of the nonsense of, who are we going to sign next year?
Yeah.
Like that. None of that.
Oh, the 3 and outs. Right. Remember, I used to hate the 3 and outs, bro, on offense.
Yeah, those days are over. And so just that and us being able to breathe, I have to give him a B+. I think Kyle did kind of lose the identity of this team because we were known as a physical squad. And I think we went away from that and we became more finesse, and it showed on both sides of the ball. But it is what it is. But yeah, B+. I think I give him B+.
Yeah, I'm with you. And I'll go ahead and do a B+ as well. I think there's some areas they need to improve and they can get better at. But I enjoyed this season. Like you, I enjoy the defense, domination of defense. And I love putting all those points in the Dallas Cowboys and just scoring beautiful touchdowns to
and
Nuke and Kittles and Christian McCaffrey's running. This offense was exciting to watch. yes, we did not get the ultimate goal is to win the Super Bowl, but we got there. And I know for a lot of you are tired of getting there and not winning. That okay, and I'll respect that. But it's not easy to get to a Super Bowl. You got to be good to get there. If you're not good, talk to the Dallas Cowboy fans. They can't even forget about the Super Bowl. They can't even make it to the NFC Championship game. The last time they've been to an NFC Championship game was 30 years ago. Not the Super Bowl, but the NFC Championship game. So it is what it is. Pete, it's always a pleasure talking football with you. We missed our boy Brandon. Brandon's not feeling good, but I got a feeling he'll miraculously feel better for tomorrow on his show. But but I love my boy Brandon. Pete, make sure. Do you have anything going on your channel this week that people may know about or want to know about?
Yeah, I'm gonna probably do another show, probably Thursday, and then yeah, I'm probably gonna slow down for a couple of weeks, like just this show and one of my show for a couple of weeks, and then start ramping it up once we starting to get into these off-season activities, free agency, and really start. I did my first mock draft today, so we'll start getting into those things. I love doing mock drafts, but PFF is being cheap now. They're no longer free to do. So
they're charging now.
Oh yeah, like they want either $24.99 a month, or you pay $119 for the whole year at $9.99 a month. Yeah, but you got to pay for the whole year.
Yeah, I got a friend of mine that pays for the whole year, and he allows me to get in there and mess with it. So I get lucky.
Yeah. So I'll be going in and doing mock drafts and learning more about I already started my first mock draft today, but nothing. You can't really even plan anything on the mock drafts until after the combine.
Of course,
so,
even after free agency, because you don't know.
Even after the combine, really, because then you got pro days and all that good stuff. So,
hey, bro, before I let you go, we got to make sure we'll talk more off screen. But maybe we can get together a couple of times and do a couple of mock drafts together. I think it'll be fun.
Absolutely. I'm all about that.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for tuning in to the Hanging Out with the Boys, talking 49er football. We appreciate each and every one of you. We come on every Tuesday at 6:30 Pacific time. Come and join us. Follow us on Twitter. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on all our platforms. All that information is in the description below. Make sure to follow us so that you are updated with the show and what's going on. Until then, we are out of here. Have a wonderful
Niners
evening. Go Niners.
Chin up, Peace. Niner fans.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4,